Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. For some times now, Senior Counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi has been accusing the Supreme Court of corruption. But he has never come out very clearly to tell us who are these judges of the Supreme Court who are corrupt. But today, in a post shared out through his X account, Senior Counsel seems to be mentioning names, and from that post, you can see clearly who are these corrupt judges the Senior Counsel has been referring to. Let's have a look at his post, after which, as usual here, we are going to dissect the post for Kenyans to understand what's happening behind the scenes. And it can also give us an insight into what happened in 2022 when Raila Odinga challenged William Ruto's win at the Supreme Court. Ahmednassir Abdullahi, Senior Counsel. Now that Chief Justice Martha Koome today read the order of the court where 6 judges recused themselves from the case I was to argue, and further barring me from the court as long as they members of the court, I'm ready to make peace with the court as follows. Number 1, I will not take a brief or appear before the Supreme Court as long as Chief Justice Koome, DCJ Mwilu, Smoking Wanjala, and Njoki are judges of the Supreme Court of Kenya. 2, I will come back to the court inshallah if and when Justices Ibrahim, Lenaola, Ouko, and other new members constitute a majority in the Supreme Court. That Senior Counsel's post about 1 hour ago as I speak. And we know today the Supreme Court judges recused themselves from a case where Senior Counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi was the lead lawyer. The case had actually reached the Supreme Court. If you look on how Senior Counsel has classified these judges, we have Koome, DCJ Mwilu, Smoking Wanjala, and Njoki Ndung'u. Senior Counsel says he's ready not to appear before them, but he'll appear before the Supreme Court when judges such as Lenaola, Ibrahim, and Ouko forms the majority in the bench. In a nutshell, Senior Counsel is indirectly exposing to Kenyans that the corrupt judges of the Supreme Court have been talking about are Koome, DCJ Mwilu, Smoking Wanjala, and Njoki Ndung'u. Those are the corrupt ones I've been talking about. And actually they form the majority. The ones who are not corrupt in the Supreme Court, according to Senior Counsel, are Ibrahim, Lenaola, and Ouko. That's very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because for so many years and for some times, it has always been believed that Lenaola was a William Ruto's ally and friend. That's what some Kenyans have been believing in some quarters. And Okia Omtata, upon the Supreme Court making its ruling, Okia Omtata accused Lenaola that he was the link, or rather the bridge, through which the Supreme Court judges were bribed. His Lenaola, who was given the loot, the money, to bribe the Supreme Court judges, and it's Lenaola who wrote the judgment, the hot air judgment. So you are seeing Senior Counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi is not accusing Lenaola of corruption. We know Senior Counsel is a staunch Ruto ally. This is a complicated kind of an affair. I'm seeing a situation where there is no clean judge here. Because the one Senior Counsel is not accusing of corruption are being accused by others of corruption. So it appears that there is no clean judge at the Supreme Court. I want us to dig deep into this for Kenyans to have at least an insight on what might have happened with Raila's petition in 2022. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. Let's proceed. Let me start by saying this. In 2022, upon Raila Odinga challenging William Ruto's win at the Supreme Court of Kenya, it was believed that Senior Counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi was to be among William Ruto's lead lawyers defending his win at the Supreme Court of Kenya. It was believed that way, and even Senior Counsel insinuated to that. And then all of a sudden, Senior Counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi was replaced, and he never appeared at the Supreme Court to represent William Ruto. Other lawyers were then appointed by Ruto's team. I'm seeing a very high possibility where Ruto's team in 2022 had looked at the Supreme Court's bench. They knew very well that 4 judges of the Supreme Court of Kenya were against or had some bad blood with Senior Counsel Ahmednassir Abdullahi. So in the event Senior Counsel could have been among the lead lawyers representing William Ruto, that could have affected Ruto's case at the Supreme Court of Kenya. I believe that this post by Senior Counsel seems to be exposing that if you look at it very keenly. Ruto knew that 4 judges were against Senior Counsel. 3 judges maybe were in good terms with him. So Ruto and his team had to drop Senior Counsel for his team to get favor with the 4 judges. I'm seeing that as what might have happened in 2022. And now that Lenaola was a staunch Ruto ally or a friend, as some Kenyans all along have believed, you can just add the dots to see what happened in 2022. But all in all, this new revelation by Senior Counsel shows that the Supreme Court is damaged beyond repair. There is no independence at the Supreme Court. Total corruption. That bench should be cleaned. Kenyans cannot and will never get justice at the Supreme Court. It's already captured. Martha Koome and DCJ Muilu appearing at State House yesterday, we can accurately say Ruto summoned them and they did obey Ruto's order to appear at State House, Nairobi. So the Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice and her deputy, have already killed the independence of the highest court in the land. So you are just seeing clearly that the Supreme Court comes out as the weakest link in our judiciary. It's high time that bench is dissolved. It's an embarrassment. Senior counsel is also not clean. So these are just chips of the same pot trying to paint the other darker. A kettle calling the pot darker. They are all rotten and should all be done away with. Let's meet in our next analysis, ladies and gentlemen. In case you have not yet subscribed, subscribe. If you are watching us outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya.